Today, January 7th, 2023, I'm building a hat rack for a customer per request. This is the finished product right here. It's going to hold cowboy hats turned upside down with the rims. With the rim of each hat, we'll lay on these dowels right here. Put some bullet caps on the some shell casings on the end for decoration, just to make it look more rustic. Like I said, the hat will turn upside down. The rim will lay on these dowels, and it'll hold 9 hats. Just the picture, if you picture it to be flipped upside down, the hat will be. All right, this is the step one I started on when I was putting the dowels into the wood. You can see how they come to the back and meet right there, flush up against the board. I measure the distance between the dowels, 6 inches apart. The dowels will be, and they'll hold 3 hats on each board. So I'm measuring here to get the distance between the dowels, the 6 inches, and then I'll measure down again for the next set to go down toward the end, so they'll all be uniform and equally spaced apart. This is like right on the edge of the inboard. Then for the last hat to go on, or the last hat of the top row to go on. I measured again just to make sure they're 6 inches apart. The dowels, there's where the hat will slide into the section there. Pretty much equally even it out, and each board will be the same way. I'll set them the same way, and then these dowels I will drill down into the wood with a special bit I've got that it's exactly the same measurements as the dowel, so it fits right perfect. I need to take my pencil and mark where they're at, because I'm going to take these loose ones off and have an idea of where I'm going to drill into each board with my drill and my bit. This is a little block I've got, just a piece of scrap wood that I'm putting underneath there, because I'm going to drill all the way through the board, and I don't want it to go into my table. So I'm going to drill, this will go directly into that piece of scrap wood. Keep it from messing my work table up, or drilling holes all on my work table. I'll go on down all the way to the edge of the board doing the same thing with my DeWalt drill and my drill bit. I like these bits. It's exactly the size of the dowel. Worked out really well. I go all the way to the end, drill down into that block, drill through the board into that scrap block. I take that one off, shake it off, and get ready to do the rest of them. All right, I'm gonna I line the boards up now, so since I've already got this first one, use it as a template, so I can drill through the holes I already drilled through into the next board. That way I don't have to keep measuring all the way down. You just drill through the template board, go straight down to the next board, and then that way the holes will all be lined up uniform all the way down. Which makes a lot of dust, of course, but that's what the shop vac's for. All right, now we got the holes drilled all the way through. Like I said, I just keep going all the way through to each board all the way the same way. The next board to the next, all the way down to the next one. It actually moves pretty quick, a lot quicker than I thought it would. But doing it as a template for each other board, it makes a big difference and speeds things up a little bit. And this drill bit is really fast, so it cuts right through the wood pretty good. All right, on to the next one. Do the same thing. Got them all lined up equally. They'll be on the board very equal. Right here all the holes have been drilled. I've got them all lined up by pushing the boards flush together. Now I'm going to insert the dowels on them. I'm going to put a little wood glue around the tip that's going to go into the hole, and use my special brush that comes built onto my hand. I'm going to put them on there, and I'm going to tap it down with a rubber mallet. Hit it all the way hard till I can feel it actually hit the tabletop underneath there. So I know that's where I know it actually went through all the way to where it's supposed to go, and I can stop. Got to pull little stickers off these things here. And again, put some more glue on the edge. Rub it around with my brush, finger type thing. Knock this one down into the wood again as well. Wipe up that excessive glue, because if you don't get that excessive glue up when you go to stain this thing, that glue will show through the stain. It'll make it look white right there where the glue's at. So try to get all the excessive glue up. So that stain, it's gonna be stained to ebony stain, and it would really show through that stain if the glue is still on the board. Really messes it up. Wipe it up. Alright, this is the top board is complete. That's what it looks like so far. Each board will look exactly the same. Then I'll put the bullet shells, the shotgun shells on the end. And it's pretty sturdy. They're in there pretty good. All the way to the flush with the edge of the board. Alright, right here, this is going to be the backing that's going to go behind the boards once I space them apart. Once again, all this is pallet wood except for the dowels. It's all pallet wood. Of course, it's been planed down and jointed. I got these little shell casings that's left over, and I'm gonna tap these in on each dowel as decorative piece once I get this thing stained to make it look more rustic. Since it's gonna be for cowboy hats, and make it look like nice and rustic. Line these pieces up. The top row will be on the top of the bracket. Then I'll tap them in with screws. 2 screws in each section. I want to measure to make sure I got the required height from top to bottom. Then I'm gonna get ready to take these things out and use my pallet buster to get some more boards for the backing, because these boards actually were too short. Alright, so I'm out here now with my pallet, and this is actually the first thing to get in pallet wood. My breaker bar that I got off Amazon makes it a whole lot quicker to pull these boards right out. Just pops them right off. It took me about 10 minutes to pop this pallet apart completely. Bar's kind of heavy, but it does come in really handy. It makes things a lot quicker than it would be if you're pulling out with a hammer or trying to cut them off. It's a breaker bar off of Amazon. If I'm not mistaken, it was about maybe 40 to 60 bucks, somewhere in between that. Not very expensive at all, and it's solid iron. I mean, solid metal. It's a very sturdy tool. Heavy too. Last board here that I can't use because it's all messed up, but I still have to break it off so I can get to the wood to the other side. And the boards that are racing this thing, I can use. These are 2x4s actually. I can use them for another project, so that comes in pretty handy. I gotta get all the nails out of them, but they can be used on something else. Just don't step on the nails. Alright, got the pallet flipped over. Gonna knock these boards out. This one here, pulling it apart, and I really should have started on the ends, because that's what happens when you start in the middle trying to pop the wood off. I should have known better than that. Start on the end of the board and pop both ends off, and then that way the middle won't bend and break, because some of these boards are kind of brittle. So that right there is going to go scrap, because it's no good. And I'm going to start on the ends now so I can get them popped off a lot easier. I should have known to do that. I've done so many of these things. It should be like the back of my hand. But all right, what I'll do next is I got the pallet boards busted apart. But as you notice, the nails sticking out of it. So I got an air gun, an air compressor. It'll pop these nails right out. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. The reason why I'm having to go back and do this is because I thought for my hat rack that I'm building, I thought that I had some boards that are 38 inches long. The height of it calls for 38. Well, it calls for 25, but I'm gonna use these boards because they're kind of rustic after I run through the planer a little bit to match the boards I've got already. So I'm gonna pop the nails out of these and run through the planer because some of them are in pretty bad shape. But I'll show you how that's done. I put my eye protectors on, so I have to take off my grandma glasses. Put these on because these nails fly everywhere when you pop these things out. So I'll show you how that is done here shortly. Alright, popping the nails out now with my air gun. They got off Amazon also. It's hooked to my compressor, and this thing is pretty powerful. It just pops the nails out, and they do fly all over the shop. So I got this little bucket here to try to catch them in. By the way, I had to put after I figured I couldn't see through these to see the nail, I had to put my grandma glasses back on. I'm sliding these right over top of those glasses to protect my eyeballs, so I will not get a nail in them. Because them nails do fly everywhere, so it's best to use protection when popping these nails out, because they hit the ceiling, they shoot across the shop, and just pretty much everywhere. That's why I try to put them on this bucket here to make them pop into the bucket. Most of the time they do, but sometimes they don't. Now I'm at the noisiest thing in the world, this planer, my Bauer planer. I'm running it through to get all that rough edges and all the roughness off these boards. Run each one of them through on both sides to get them the way I need to be. Works out pretty good. And they're smooth, just like you got them out of the store almost. I'd like to keep them a little bit rustic so I don't go too far with it, but I will run them through there, front and back on all 3 boards. It's really does come out smooth, just like that, just right out of the store, but just pallet wood. Looks really good. All right, back at the work table now with the boards that I just planed and broke off the pallet earlier in the video. Gonna try to size them up now to see how they're gonna fit behind the hat boards, each individual hat board. Get them all lined up and measured, make sure they're all they're same length, same distance apart. Then I'll screw them down with screws, pop them in with screws to hold them in place. Right now I'm just kind of trying to get the idea of how I'm going to have these things lined up. Alright, I'll knock the dowels in after this, after I get these boards attached, and then I'll stain it in the ebony stain, and then this project will be complete and ready to be picked up by the customer.